2004 Cadillac CTS 3.6 timing setup procedure. After you pull everything off, don't start cleaning anything until you cover the oil pan to make sure you prevent anything from falling on there. Replace the oil pump. That should be fairly simple. The sprocket pulls off. Most new kits are going to have this upgraded chain. I had the original chain that came off that vehicle, and while it was sitting on the table, it fell apart on its own as I was inspecting it. You could tell why. Yep, poor craftsmanship. So cover the oil pan before you do any cleaning. Plug the outlets for water, just to make sure you're not having any water running into your oil pan and mixing with everything later. Pull your spark plugs before you remove the timing chain to make sure the engine doesn't want to turn and rotate one way or the other, because if it hits tops of the pistons, this is an interference engine, it will bend the valves. When you're setting up the left head, you'll be matching up the L's with the marks at the top of the head. This one's going to be up and down directly at 90 degree from the cylinder head. This one's going to be off at a 45. The back of both the cams, they're going to be flush with the cylinder head, and then that's going to be for your stage 1 timing, which these two will match up there with the left, and these two will match for the R. The arrow on this one is going to be pointing upwards. This opening here is going to be down there, and this window's for matching up the lower colored link on the chain with the tooth that lines up center with that hole. Then you're gonna have a dimple on your crankshaft. It's gonna line up with that marking there in the oil pan, the oil pump. And there's one that's gonna line up with the tooth right there on the right sprocket. And that's gonna be for your stage 1. For stage 2, you're going to, once you line the markings up on the chain, you're gonna deploy the tensioner. Same with the oil pump chain. And then you're going to rotate the engine using the crankshaft bolt clockwise, about 115 degrees. That's about a quarter turn. Basically until your marks are reverse. That one's straight and that one's off to 45. Once you rotate it quarter turn, you would be able to match up the markings on the left, on the right in the passenger head. That one's going to be straight up and down, that one's going to be up at a 45. With the cams in the back flush with the cylinder head. When you're marking up the left head, your top dead center, I use a magnet. It's going to be at top dead center right there, and then for the right head it's going to drop. Don't worry about trying to match up the marks after you line everything up and turn the engine over 3 or 4 times. They are never going to match, unlike most other vehicles. So just get them right the first time and the rest at ease. When you're done with the timing chain and you put the cover on, there is a prime plug that's on the side of the engine, which you use to prime the oil pump. Don't run it dry, it won't be able to pick up any oil being dry. You just burn that up and you have to restart, probably with failure on the rest of the engine. So make sure you open that up, get a 1/4 inch line, possibly the kind that you use for fuel line. You can get it AutoZone, any auto parts store, and dump about a quart or 2 of oil in there. Change your oil filter, obviously, and then the torque sequence for all these are at 43 foot a pound. All these are 17 tensioners, guides, and same for the oil pump. That's also 17. The front cover is also 17 across all of them except for the bigger ones. And there's a tightening sequence for that, so we'll cover that in the next video. We've got some cleanup to do.